Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Lord of Salt Grim here. Today we are playing WWF Superstars, the arcade game from way back in the day. Emulating this, of course. Benefit of emulation is I have unlimited credits, so let's go ahead and dive in. And of course, this game came out back in 1988. We got 6 playable characters here: Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, the Big Boss Man. I already forgot. Jim Duggan and Honky Tonk Man, of course. And here we are against the Ultimate Warrior and Jim Duggan first. I picked the Mega Powers. They had just broken up around the time this game came out, and so it's pretty obvious. The two boss characters you can't play as are Andre the Giant, Ted DiBiase, the Mega Bucks. The goal is to defeat enough tag teams to challenge them. We're starting off in New York here. As the opening say, you got the little intro there that showed them coming down the ramp, which was pretty cool, with their entrance gear on. A lot of stuff you wouldn't see in a lot of wrestling games for a long time here. Being used, and Pat Duggan's been tagged in, and I tagged in the Macho Man. Oh yeah. You got a punch and a kick button here. Characters will automatically grapple when they're close to each other. Hitting the kick button in the grapple will throw them to the ropes. The punch button will either throw them, you'll do like an overhead throw, which if you're near the ropes will throw them out of the ring. Or that's if you press up and punch. If you press punch by itself, it gets them into like a headlock, and from there you can do either with punch or kick. You'll do a heavy move. That's the overhead throw there. And when they're running, you can do a punch or a kick attack, which varies from character to character. And of course, when you're running, to run you have to press punch and kick at the same time, which is fickle. Here we got Hulk Hogan doing the pile driver. That's his heavy punch grapple from the headlock there. And there you can see Duggan. It's really hard to hit enemies while running in this game. It seems like they always pick the perfect time to hit you first. And for grappling, it seems to just be whoever initiates the grapple is pretty much the winner. It does seem that some enemies can like counter out of your grapples as you get further in the game, but I was never able to do that myself. You can see Hulk Hogan's atomic leg drop finishing move. It's just hitting kick button when they're on the ground by their head, so pretty easy to do. Of course, it's a little extra animation, so it's a little harder to hit, but. And there they are, the Mega Bucks, along with Virgil, the bodyguard. Now we're up against Honky Tonk Man and Big Boss Man, the heels of the game. Playable ones anyway. The colors for the mat and the ring change a little bit from match to match. You're supposed to be obviously in the Superstars arena, which is, in this case would be, I assume, Madison Square Garden, New York City. Just said we were in New York. Yeah, of course, Honky Tonk Man, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of his time. Big Boss Man, he was a real big boy when he first came in. And they brought him in to feud with the Mega Powers. Because Andre was getting older, he couldn't be as active as he used to. We'll do some quick tags and already hit with the Boss Man Slam right off the bat. Always a good start. Atomic drop there, very nice. Landing in some good punches there. The sprite works pretty good in this game. They're nice and big, fairly well detailed. They do have kind of a generic overall look to them. Boss Man looks way older than he probably should. For some reason, he does a little taunt with his head, but I couldn't trigger a taunt. But I had both enemies taunt against me, so it seems to be a thing that you do after certain attacks, I guess. Or after a certain amount of successful attacks. On the bright side, again, if you're emulating, you can increase your health just by putting in an extra credit. So if you are struggling, you can fight on the outside of the ring. There's not much to do out here. You can toss them, and they'll, as you can see, he threw me into the guardrail there, and I bounced off, and he threw me into the ring too. So yeah, but you got to a count of 20. It's a quick count. It's not the usual slower count in the real professional wrestling. So that's why they give you the 20. Cocky pin there by the Big Boss Man. You will automatically take control of your partner when you're pinned or are pinning. And another Boss Man slam there and another cocky pin. Luckily, they were right over by me, and he's just going to keep hitting me with the Boss Man Slam, because why not? I used a quarter to get my health back, and with a quick tag got me out of that sticky situation. Boss Man's a pain in the neck. That Boss Man Slam, he's surprisingly good with it. And there I failed to hit him with the pile driver, and yeah. Sometimes they just get out of it, and other times they don't. It's kind of hard to tell. And if you do a certain moves into the ropes, you'll bounce off of them too, which I guess is a good effect for the time. There you see he countered, hit me with a clothesline when I was going for the back body drop. And again, that's something I was never able to trigger myself, so maybe I just couldn't figure the controls out well enough, but yeah. You can pick them up straight into a grab. That's probably the easiest way to get into a grab. And of course, Macho Man can do his flying elbow drop if you're lucky enough to land it, and of course the AI can grab you if you're too close to them, and the same can go the other way. There you can see a ring bounce. Pretty nifty stuff. Yeah, a fun game, a lot of button mashing basically. You only got the 2 buttons and the joystick, so you know, you do what you can. And you'll do a different move if they're standing versus if they're laying down. Hogan does a leg drop from the top rope if they're laying down. Of course, Macho Man does his elbow drop, which I just couldn't seem to land in this fight. Just, the game just wasn't having it. Honky Tonk Man and Hulk Hogan going at it. Honky's got me good. There he does his little juke and jive, his dance. And yeah, you can tell I'm already having some trouble. If I were playing this in a real arcade, it would be a real pain in the neck. So, it's definitely a more difficult game. If they basically get the first hit on you, you're basically screwed. You know, if they grab you first, you're done, and then they can just counter out of your stuff like that every now and then. And nice back body or back suplex there, back body drop. Now we're talking, and I missed the leg drop, of course. So put the Macho Man back in, hit that running clothesline, very nice. Get him in the headlock for the suplex. Bounced off the side, but we still got him. And finally nailed that flying elbow drop. Of course, we were too close to Honky Tonk. Nothing we could do much about that. And I wasted my hits because I was just mashing buttons at that point. We'll bring Hulk back in, hit him with the big leg drop. Go for the pin, and this time Honky didn't bother jumping in. We even got voice clips, which is nice. Something you didn't see a lot in games back then, especially wrestling games. Arcade games more so, yeah. And there's the Mega Bucks looking displeased. Now we're up against Jim Duggan and the Boss Man, so they got to mix it up for the third match. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Nice pile driver there. And they do seem to have some theme songs worked into the soundtrack for this game. A little all over the place. You could have heard some Real American there when we were at the character select screen. I'm not sure if there's any other themes worked into it per se, but yeah. I like that sound effect of whoop whoop when you're bouncing off the ropes, man. Classic stuff. And of course, Jim Duggan and Hulk Hogan look like they're just recolors of each other. But yeah, it's okay, you know, it's a primitive game, you know, it was a long time ago now. It's close to almost 40 years as of the making of this. Of course, Jim Duggan, the first Royal Rumble winner. Hulk Hogan won the next 2. Macho Man, he was Intercontinental Champion and then became World Champion, defeated Ted DiBiase in the tournament in WrestleMania 4. Of course, lost that title to Hulk Hogan when the Mega Powers exploded at WrestleMania 5. So, yeah, we even have a ref here too. You can knock out the ref, and that will slow down the count, I believe. But I never bothered. There's not much to do outside anyway, so not in this game anyway. They would add some stuff later in other games. The next one we'll play is the sequel to this, which was WWF WrestleFest. Definitely looking forward to getting that one up on the channel. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Let me know if you got any recommendations or preferences down below. Next time we'll probably be playing as Demolition. mix things up a little bit. Don't want to keep playing as the Mega Powers. I don't think Randy Savage is in the next one. I'm not positive, though. In WrestleFest. But it's been a while. Yeah, this game was a blast to play. I never actually played this one growing up. I did play WrestleFest once exactly. Found it at we have a fast food place called Top Dog. I don't know if they probably got them around somewhere else too, but Top Dog, of course, it wasn't a very big restaurant, but they had a little arcade there, and they had a WWF WrestleFest. That was my first time playing it. I, of course, played as Demolition, which was the first time I ever saw Demolition. I was like, these guys are awesome. And then I found out about the Road Warriors. Like, these guys are awesome, too. So, it was Boss Man headbutting the crap out of me. I don't know why I struggle with Boss Man so much in this game. He amped it up for that guy. I mean, he's a big guy. He was brought in basically to be like a boss level type, to give Hogan a run for his money, and he did for quite a bit as well. I mean, usually he double team for it with a Keem or something like that, Missed with the big splash. And the big leg drop and the pin. Duggan almost came to the rescue, but it wasn't necessary. He kicked out. Kicked out of the big leg drop. How do you like that, guys? Ooh, back suplex, very nice. At this point, I'm just getting frustrated with Big Boss Man. I want to put him down. Of course, there's no indicator of your enemy's health, so you just kind of keep hitting them. They'll stay down longer, of course. That's kind of how you know that they're getting worn out. Toss them outside the ring for some outside the ring brawling. Almost did an outside of the ring leg drop before the points. Never going to get bounced around by the Big Boss Man here. Yeah, we bounced him around in return, so it's nice to give a receipt, right? He's about to get counted out. The ref does get agitated when he gets close to the end there. And I actually managed to land that running knee drop. And I'm not going to hit this, but I tried anyway. You do have to be pretty close with them to the corners. And you can't drag them in these older games. So, they just have to end up there. All about positioning, guys. See, now he's pretty close to that corner. But he got out of that. I was about to hit him with the atomic drop, but he got out of it somehow. I still don't know how that works. I would assume button mashing or pushing the right button at the right time. Got him with it that time. And this time, let's go for it again. All right, flying elbow drop. Nice one. And, ooh, back body drop. The Big Boss Man stopped him in his tracks. And, yeah, he's got a pile of enemies down there. Very nice, very nice.
They are declaring themselves challengers to your World Championship belt.
No one can beat Mega Bucks.
I'll put you to sleep with my $1 million dream. Ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, not of course the official voices there of Howard Finkel and the Mega Bucks, but at least they got something, right? It's pretty cool though. It's retro. I like it. Oh, we're in a submission hold there. Very nasty. And you can't pick up Andre. A lot of attacks just bounce off him. You can't grapple him at all. So, and I found this out the hard way. It just doesn't work. I don't know if you get him tired enough if you can slam him. But yeah, this one's going to take a while. Of course, the Mega Powers and the Mega Bucks had a huge feud back in the day. Lasted almost 2 years. Kind of really sprung out of WrestleMania 3 and into 4 and 5. Because, of course, it starts with Andre and Hogan at WrestleMania 3. And because, Andre turned on Hogan because he didn't like that. It was kind of taking attention away from him when Hogan won the title, the championship and all. So, Andre did a heel turn, he came back from his retirement as a bad guy, and they had that epic match at the WrestleMania 3 with the slam heard around the world, one of the most iconic moments in professional wrestling history. And sometime after that, it was on a Saturday Night Main Event, they did a rematch, and Andre defeated Hogan with some help from Bobby Heenan, I think. And got the title, but because of the question of legitimacy of the win, the fake WWF president Jack Tunney came out and declared that the title would be vacated and a tournament would be held, and that's how WrestleMania 4 came around. You know, there was a giant, I think it was a 12-man tournament held over the weeks, and the finals were done at WrestleMania, and eventually it came down to Hogan and Andre were in there, and they had a double count out, I believe, in their match. Later on, it was Macho Man Randy Savage who defeated Ted DiBiase to become champion, and feuds kind of expanded from there with Andre and DiBiase teaming up and kind of beating up on Macho Man, and then Hogan came out to help him, and then Hogan and Macho Man start teaming up, and they're fighting Big Boss Man and Akeem, and they become the Mega Powers and all that. And of course, eventually they defeat the Mega Bucks at, I believe it was a Saturday Night Main Event. And yeah, and of course, eventually, because of jealousy of and distrust between Hogan and Savage, you know, the big egos, and as well as jealousy over Miss Elizabeth, where, you know, Macho seemed to be thinking that she was siding with Hulk instead of him. Eventually they broke up, and that led to their feud and their match at WrestleMania 5, where Macho Man lost the belt to Hulk Hogan. Hogan became champion again. It was a pretty awesome story, honestly, as the whole thing played out back in the day. If you can watch, you know, the two WrestleManias and all the Saturday Night Main Events that linked it all together, it's pretty cool. The WWE Vault actually did upload like the basic tips of the story arc, a lot of the interviews they did, and some of the match results and events and things. It's not really complete because it doesn't show, you know, it should end with their match at WrestleMania, but it doesn't. You have to watch the WrestleManias to get that. But you can find that stuff on, well, it's on Netflix in full, but you can probably find the matches and stuff on YouTube as well. Here we get a good look at the front of the apron. This design isn't from actual WWE back in the day. I should say WWF. It's not what the Superstars arena looked like. Superstars was a show. It was really their prime weekly show, although it wasn't really considered their flagship. The flagship instead was Primetime Wrestling, which was really a recap show hosted by Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. And so there were Superstars, there was Wrestling Challenge, and Primetime Wrestling. So those were the three shows, Primetime being a recap, and the other two being not live shows, but they were taped events that would be shown during the week. And of course you had Coliseum Video putting stuff out, which were compilations from different live events, or sometimes the different shows just kind of plugged together, and releasing them on VHS for people to rent, like I did as a kid myself. Had a lot of fun renting those old Coliseum VHS tapes. Kind of wish I had a collection of them to this day, because they were unique compilations, you know, and you could definitely see a lot of Mega Powers action on those tapes. Oof, he managed to get me that time. And we're having a hard time with these guys. I've had to use quite a few credits to basically just keep the match going, because they won't stay down for very long. Ted is obviously the $1 Million Man's a lot easier than Andre. He doesn't have that immunity to all the moves, but he's still surprisingly difficult, because he does counter his way out of a lot of moves. And he initiates that grapple a lot. Like I said, whoever gets the grapple first is basically the winner. But Macho is faster. He's a little too fast sometimes. And it worked against me a few times there. And here he hits us with the vertical suplex, does a little pose, something I also still haven't managed to do. Missed us with the clothesline. Little boxing in the middle of the ring there. Kick him around a bit. Of course, these two facing off was how WrestleMania 4 went down in the final. And there I am using another credit to keep my health going. Andre trying to defend DiBiase even though he didn't need to. And you do have to watch out for that $1 Million Dream. He's probably hit it with me a few times already. He's getting tired now. And I was lucky enough to be able to hit him with the atomic drop there. But he's already got the advantage again. So it didn't last long, guys. So yeah, the Mega Bucks are very tough. But it was an awesome story. Probably one of the best angles, feuds we had in the WWF back in the day. One of the best, I think, personal wrestling feuds of all time. The story was great. Had a lot of intrigue to it, a lot of twists and turns, and just the team of Hogan and Savage was an awesome team. I always thought one of the greatest, tag teams of all time. It really was like, two powers colliding and joining forces. As of course you got Hogan and Andre, the classic saying from Gorilla Monsoon, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Gorilla always had a way for words. You can pin Andre, but yeah, I'm nowhere near lucky enough to be able to do that just yet. Andre is also, because he is much bigger, as he should be, and clothesline him there, which is cool. Throwing Andre is pretty much all you can do to him. You can Irish whip him, and you can hit him with the running moves sometimes. Other times, you get collision detection there. But because his sprite's bigger, his hitbox is so much bigger, so he's definitely got an advantage on you. And it doesn't help that you can't pick him up. He's pretty much guaranteed to get out of it. Very tough match. I'm also kind of surprised they went with the tag tournament. I guess makes sense again with the Mega Powers, Mega Bucks feud being big at the time. And I'm just pounding credits there because I'm just mashing buttons at this point. Like, when will these guys go down? They're just mauling me here. They're just having a go. Somehow I got out of that. I don't know how. Like I said, and we missed everything. Just everything. Andre's sprite looks pretty good, though, I think. As you'd expect from the final boss. And Andre would be the final boss of the video game, right? It only makes sense. He didn't appear in a lot of games back then, though. It was towards the end of his career already. A lot of the licensed games really came out in the 90s. And I plan on playing those through the channel as well. So I look forward to those, but Andre wasn't in a whole lot of those. He was in the really early ones, like the ones Rare did. I'm not planning on playing those, though, because they're a little too primitive. Just not my cup of tea. I don't mind getting old, but I don't need to get that old. And of course, we completely whiffed with our running clothesline, and somehow he managed to get out of the multi-step grapple. Hit us with a very nasty backbreaker. He's going off the top rope, but misses his own flying leg drop. Come to think of it, these two look a lot alike, too, so very similar sprites. The hair's a little different, though. It's a little different. Of course, you got, and there it is, the $1 Million Dream. Yeah, you wanna use your quarters then, because he got it before I could hit the flying elbow drop. We got to take advantage of Ted, man. Ted's the weak link. Of course, you tend to automatically roll down when you get up in the ring, so when you roll down enough times, you'll roll out of the ring, and you'll get this ringside fight, which is cool to see the crowd, and the ring apron and all that. It's a cool perspective. I always thought it was really neat back in the day when you play these old games, being able to fight outside the ring. It reflected how the show went, the actual matches and all, and it was just a cool feature. Simple in retrospect, but you had what you had back in the day. You were lucky to have much of anything. We gotta take it to Ted, man. We gotta take it to the $1 Million Man. He's our only shot here. Andre is too tough. If we can take Ted down, he keeps hitting me with that backbreaker. He's a big fan of it. A big fan. And there we sent him flying finally. Of course, Hogan feuded with Ted DiBiase quite a bit back in the day. We completely missed Andre. That would have been it, which was a shame. But yeah, because Hogan would come back and feud with DiBiase again when, actually towards the end of his tenure in WWE, and another $1 Million Dream there. But they were in different teams. Ted DiBiase teamed up with Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, to form, what did they call themselves? Money Incorporated. Money Inc. And Hogan teamed with his real life kind of friend that he had, that he worked out with a lot and used to partner with when he was younger. Oh God, what did he go by? I've already forgotten. He was Brutus Beefcake. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Yeah, him and Hogan, when he wrestled as Terry, they were the Balea brothers, I believe. They both went by Balea. Back whatever small indie fed they started off in. So, naturally, wherever Hogan worked, Brutus Beefcake got a job. And yeah, so they formed a tag team. I forget what, I think they called themselves were they the Mega Maniacs? No, the Hulkamaniacs. It was the Hulkamaniacs and Money Incorporated. And that was around WrestleMania 9. So that was way after this. But, yeah, now it's back down to these two. And luckily Andre doesn't seem to be too interested. And he kicked out. That's probably why. Sometimes the AI partner doesn't come in, and that's kind of when you got a shot. You got a brief opening there. You might as well take it. And I goofed that. Like I said, I'm kind of just mashing buttons, just hoping to land hits, hoping to get out of grapples. Nothing's really working. I keep rolling out of the ring, which drives me crazy because it never works to my advantage, really. And strangely enough, you have to hit punch to stomp on him. Well, you'd think that would be kick, but kick does a bigger attack. In Savage's case, I think he does a standing elbow drop when you do the kick to a grounded opponent. Of course, if it's different if you're near their body. Their body, you'll do a pin with kick, and then punch will stop. If you're by their head, punching will pick them up and automatically grapple, and kick will do a move to them, like the leg drop. Will this be it? Will the atomic leg drop do the trick? The Mega Bucks are finally down! The Mega Powers are the new tag team champions. And of course, neither of these teams were ever tag champions. Hail to the new champions, April 1st, 1989. DiBiase, this is a nightmare. Now, technically, the game repeats. Here's Miss Elizabeth. Gives us the belts, which we never see. And then it changes to Tokyo, and you repeat the whole thing. So that's it for this. I hope you guys enjoy. See you guys next time. This is Grim signing off, saying stay salty.